What's up, Star City Blood Bowl League coaches, and welcome to the Season 8 Round 5 update where we'll go through the standings, look up at the upcoming matches, and then look at the updated honors since this last round of play. First things first, we'll go through the Blue Ridge Division, right now being led by the Southeast Purple Haze, who are currently the only undefeated team in the league, with 5 wins, 0 draws, 0 losses. They're sporting a +8 net touchdown with a -2 net casualty. They are outfouling their opponents by a +11 ratio. Next up behind, we have the Northeast Reapers, which moved up 2 spots this round into the second place. That team picked up their 3rd win of the season with 1 draw, 1 loss. We have next behind the New River Nightcrawlers picked up their first loss of the season against the Northeast Reapers. They're also at 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. And then falling 1 spot but still into playoff contention is the Kansas City Dark Elf team, which is 2 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss so far. First 4 out are the Malice Powboys, the Oathbringers, Corned Beef, District Decimators, and then we also have the Death Dodgers and the Marlin Bay Marauders, who were able to pick up their first touchdown of the year. Looking at the Mill Mountain Division, we have a new leader in the Mill Mountain Division. That is the Talabine Valley Titans, who are sitting at 4 wins and 1 draw. They have a +7 net touchdown with a +3 net casualty. The Blackwater Prowlers fall out of the top spot after, I think, holding it for about 2 rounds, maybe even 3, dropping their first round with 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. They still have a healthy +6 net touchdowns and a +12 net casualties. The Black Pyramid Sentinels are also sitting into the playoff spots. They were just out into the number 5 spot last round, but they moved up to the 3 spot with a win this round, sitting at 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. And then the Thunder Mountain Rampage are holding on to that 4th spot for 2 weeks in a row as they won their 5th round, sitting at 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. Biggest mover in this round, the Passing Pathogens, which is a redraft Skaven team, fell out of the top 4 spots in the division for the first time this year as they pick up their 2nd loss in a row with 3 wins, 0 draws, 2 losses. Followed quickly behind by Salt Life, the Corn team. The Stinky Skinks picked up another win for the Lizardmen. The Box Art Barons ended their round with a loss, as well as the Fuzzy Teeth Fingerlings and Midnight Maulers, both of which bringing up the bottom there of the Mill Mountain Division. Going to the upcoming round 6, first matchup we have is Corned Beef against the District Decimators. So looking at these two teams, maybe very slowly because my internet is questionable at best. We have an 1150 Corn team against 1145 Ogre team. So probably very little inducements coming for the Ogres. Maybe, let's see, they'll have to get one more for 11. So they'll be able to get about 55K inducements for the Ogres, it looks like, with the Bloodseeker missing. All healthy Ogre team sitting at 14 players. Yep, so about 55K inducements or so, maybe 60 if I miscalculated that. Enough for a bomber, which is probably what I would recommend the Ogres take. But it looks like, who's going to win this? Looking at this, it looks like the Corned Beef have been able to find the end zone at about twice the rate that the District Decimators have been able to. They're playing good defensively. Brutality-wise, they're pretty even, both pretty even in resisting. But the District Decimators are sporting an interesting almost 4 fouls per game. So what do I think will happen in this one? I think this one's going to go as a draw. I'm going to give it a 1-1 draw for this matchup here. Looking at the next one, this is the Northeast Reapers and the Marlin Bay Marauders. So the Marlin Bay Marauders have 0 money in their hand, 1140. They're going to get a little bit of inducements, about 100K worth of inducements, which tentacles, tackle, block, mighty blow. So they've been able to pick up some good skills over the past couple games, slowly starting to form up a team, which is good. The Northeast Reapers have got, 4 mighty blows, a handful of guards, some block step, a wrestle ghoul, unskilled ghoul. So they're a very fast team now with this movement 7 average for the most part on the field. They got their Fowler back, sitting at 12 players, still 3 rerolls, 1,300 team value. This one here, it's going to be really tough for the Marauders to win this one. I'm going to say it's going to be 2-0 with the Northeast Reapers. They're just playing much better right now at this time. I think the Marlin Bay Marauders are getting better, and their skills, now that they are not randoming as much, I think are slowly growing the team into something that can compete. I just don't think they're there quite yet. The Reapers play good defense. They injure a lot of players, and then their regen ability allows them to get back up. So I think they're going to be able to hold on to this one and win 2-0. Next up, the Southeast Purple Haze against the New River Nightcrawlers. So this one right here, we're looking at, let's see, the Purple Haze. I think they're all healthy. 1320 team value. They have all their Skaven, 2 goblins, a handful of snotlings, and a troll. So 14 players total. 1320 team value against the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 players so far for the New River Nightcrawlers with 115K to spare. So they could buy either a Thrall or a Vampire. And it looks like they'll still get inducements even if they do either of those, but a very small amount. I think if they buy a Vampire, then they'll only get 20K. If they buy a Thrall, then they might get, let's see, I guess that's 40, so 1230, I guess 90K after that. So looking at these two teams, they're both playing pretty similar offensively, both very similarly defensively, same brutality. The resistance of the vampires has been a little higher naturally because there's no snotlings, no goblins on that team. But the obviously the fouling ability of the underworld denizens is still very high. So what do I think will happen with this one? I think this one's still going to be a win for the Purple Haze. I'm going to say it's going to be 2-1. It may even be 3-1. I think the New River Nightcrawlers will probably find the end zone at least once. But I think that's maybe going to be about it. They're going to try and lean probably pretty heavily on Elizabeth Bathroy, who is a block dodge sidestep pro player. But there's enough tackle and other ways to stop the skilled up vampires that I don't think the Purple Haze are going to have a lot of trouble getting up in numbers and staying that way. So I'm going to give this one to the Purple Haze and I'm going to say it's 3-1. Next up, the Death Dodgers against the Kansas City Dark Elf team. So the Death Dodgers picked up a draw this past round. It was their first draw of the season. They are going to be missing Mr. Crowley, which is kind of unfortunate. This is one that you want them, as well as a Flesh Golem for this round. They'll pick up, looks like they'll be at 1055 against the 1270 Dark Elf team. There will be another 70K stuck in there. So 1340. What did we say here? We said 1340 minus how much did I say they had to pick up? They need one more journeyman, so 40K. So minus 1055. So 285K is a good amount of inducements. What could they take? I would want to lean on probably Wilhelm to replace the missing werewolf you have. Frankenstein's probably not worth it. Gretchen's definitely not worth it. Kraken Crumbleberry, I don't think that's worth it. I think Wilhelm's the person you got to grab. And the rest of the money could be spent on a number of different things. Mm, 3 rerolls, so you don't need that. There's not much money left, right? 285, there's 65K. I'd probably just pick up a keg and Wilhelm and see if you can do some damage with the claws. As far as the Kansas City team goes, they still have their dodge sidestep tackle Finn. Airplane Blondie is still alive, doing well with block dodge tackle. There's another kick dodge lineman. So the thing that's interesting about the Dark Elf team is they're starting to get skills on the Dark Elf lineman, which makes them very, very scary in late parts of the season. So looking at this, 1.3 offensively versus zero point 0.4 offensively for the Death Dodgers. Um, both of these teams play great defensively. The Dark Elves hurt a couple more players. Resistance wise, Dark Elves aren't getting as hurt, but there are some fouls committed by the Death Dodgers. So probably for this one here, I'm going to say it's probably going to be 2-0. In this one, it may be, yeah, I'm going to go 2-0 for the Dark Elves in this one here. Last game of the week is the Oathbreakers and the Malice Powboys sitting at 5th and 6th, both tied for the same amount of league points, sitting just outside of the playoff. They're both sporting this pretty much the same offensively. They are the exact same team value. Defensively, pretty much identical. Brutality, pretty close. The Orcs are resisting getting hurt a little more, which makes sense since they don't have the weak Hobgoblin armor. And dirty play wise, neither of these teams fouled too much, but if anyone's going to foul, it looks like it's going to be the Orcs. So looking at these rosters, handful of guard, block, mighty blow, sure hands, block, kick. They also picked up Rangoon, which is a Minotaur, sitting at 12 players, 3 rerolls, which is good. And the Powboys have 4 blitzers, 4 big uns, 2. So no goblin here right now. 30K, 3 rerolls. So who will win this? I think a lot of this will come down to who ends up winning the line of scrimmage. The guard ability of the blockers, I think, will be something that'll allow the Chaos Dwarfs to get some good blocks on some of the big uns that they may not be able to block. But it does look like, really, with all the block ability, chances are the Chaos Dwarves aren't going to be able to take advantage of their block skill as much. So who wins this? I kind of feel like this one could go to the Powboys. I feel like they're the favored team looking at just roster to roster. So I'm going to give them a 2-1 win over the Oathbreakers this round. All right, looking at the Mill Mountain Division, we have the Salt Life against the Thunder Mountain Rampage. So both of these teams playing identical offensively, identical defensively. The Rampage are hurting a few more players and resisting obviously being hurt a little more. Neither of these teams foul. So looking at them, it does look like the Blood Spawn is going to be missing a game. So that's pretty killer. That may actually kind of end up with this being a little more lopsided than it would be on paper. But it may leave room for something like Borak to come in. We could see if they would have enough inducements. So 11 players there, 1290. They got 9. So they're going to have to pick up 2 Marauders at 50K apiece. So 1010 plus 100. So that's 1110 minus, might not be enough for anything relatively decent. 1290. 180K. 180K. I don't really like any of the stars there. Creek's so hit or miss, and with against dwarves, I don't think you want to do that because they'll just 2-die uphill you and both down you. A wizard. Wizard may be the way to go, and look to use it probably for Jukai Sports Sorceress. I can't remember what that one is. Is that the one that has, maybe that's the one that has Lightning Bolt? It might be worth just trying to use a Lightning Bolt to, knock a ball out of a player when you get close. Spleen Ripper might be worth it, but there's not enough for a bribe, so probably not. I don't know. This is going to be a tough one for Corn. What do I think this is going to be? This is going to be bad. I think this one's going to go 2-0 to the Thunder Mountain Rampage. I just think that they needed that blood spawn with the claws and strength to really push some dwarves around, and not having it, there just isn't the inducements to kind of offset that with the money that they're getting. Stinky Skinks and the Midnight Maulers. This is a father-son matchup. So these teams playing pretty much the same. I know that the Skinks have picked up a couple wins lately, but they play pretty similar. It looks like offensively, defensively, hurting people, resistance. The Skinks are more willing to foul, which may give them an edge. They do not have a lot of players at all. Looks like they need 2 Saurus, so they should buy those. They're sitting at 250K. So if they were smart, they would get 2 Saurus, which would give them 9 players, and then they need 2 more Skink Journeymen. It's 1140 against 810. Oh my gosh, these teams got annihilated. 1140. Blockers are missing. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 4 Journeymen. Oh my goodness. What'd I say? 1140. 1050 minus 1140. Gosh, that's not much. Oh, I think the Stinky Skinks have the better team going into this one. Especially, they need to buy those 2 Saurus and get full on Saurus. They could go with the Journeyman Skinks, but you could buy a Skink too, I think, if you really wanted to. They could also afford at least. You just got to go with those Saurus. You got to buy those 2 Saurus. There's no reason not to. You're not playing them optimally if you're not going to buy those this round. That being said, who wins this? I could see it being a draw 1-1, and so that's what I'm going to call. I think both of these teams are playing very good. I think the Stinky Skinks, like I said, have the better team, but I think just coaching ability wise, each of these coaches, they're pretty evenly matched, regardless of what the roster really says. And so I think it's just going to be a 1-1 draw. Next up, we have the Blackwater Prowlers and the Fuzzy Teeth Fingerlings. Blackwater Prowlers are playing very, very well, sitting at 1430, which is one of the higher team values in the league. Pro Dauntless Zombie, which I love. Fuzzy Teeth Fingerlings have 13 players, only 4 skills. Oh, they're not skilling up their guys. I guess they're saving up for something here. It's interesting. They've got 3 players that could skill up that they have not skilled up yet. So maybe they want to take a look at that. I can't remember. Did they pick favorite of? They might be able to get Hackflam. I don't know. I'm not going to do the math to figure it out, but it's probably worth it if they could. Grab Hackflam. Glart would be very good, I think, too, against the Necromantic, because then you could take down like the Flesh Golems and stuff with claws. And your equal strength to the Flesh Golem. So it wouldn't be hard to get a 2-die block on them. What do I think is going to happen in this one? I think this one's a pretty easy win for the Blackwater Prowlers, even if the Fingerlings skill up. I'm going to guess it's going to be probably, I want to say 2-0 is what I'm going to guess on this one. Next up, Talabine Valley Titans and the Pyramid Sentinels, which is a potential playoff match. Both of these teams are in playoff contention. The Taliban Valley Titans have been playing very well as of late. They did have a blitzer die this past round. Um, let's see, how's their skills looking? Looks like they've hit a couple skill ups. They must be saving for some secondaries. No money left, so they were able to get back to full strength of 4 blitzers with anything to spare. Looking at their team, pretty similar offensively. It looks like Tomb Guardians have some skills, lots of Mighty Blow, lots of guards, so it's going to be hard to get some good hits on them. What do I think is going to happen here? I think this one is still going to go to the Taliban Valley Titans just out of speed and ability to score alone. So I'm going to give this one 2-1 over the Black Pyramid Sentinels this round. Oh, sorry if you can hear my kids. Next up, we have the Box Art Barons and the Passing Pathogens. So the Box Art Barons are in 8th place right now, picking up their 4th loss. 0.6 offensively. Let's see how their team looks. Pretty beat up. 920. Yosh. Yeesh. Oh, they've been beat up pretty good this year. Oh. They're going to have to at least get 2 journeymen. So that's 90K on top of that. So 10-10 against, oh my gosh, a stack team. So we're probably seeing Griff and Cindy against this team here. But could you afford Griff and Rumbelow? Because that might be the play. Rumbelow's 170. Griff 280. I don't think he's getting that much. 450. I don't think the deficit's that large, but it's close. 450 plus what I say, 90, so 1010. So that's 1460. Uh-oh. You could do it plus some. I think Griffin Rumbelow would be the play here. Rumbelow's great. It's got tackle, which is what you need against Skaven. Mighty Blow, it's got block, Juggernaut, whole bunch of stuff. Griff is Griff. You don't need much else besides Griff a lot of times. So I don't know. I feel like this one could be won by the Imperials with the amount of inducements they're getting. It might even be worth it to take something like Deeproot and Griff if you could afford it. But man, Rumbelow is just so good for the price. I mean, Ivar is really good too. Block, tackle, guard. His armor's a little low, which kind of sucks. But I guess so is Rumbelow's, right? Rumbelow's 8 plus? 8 plus. Grombrindle, is he worth it? Not really. Not for this team. I'd almost wonder if you should try and take Griff and Ivar. 280 plus 245 plus 1010. 1535. I would take Griff and Ivar. Yeah. And then get like a keg. That's probably what I would do. So who do I think will win? I think if they go with Griff and another star, whether it be Rumble or Ivar, I think this is going to be a pretty close match. I'm going to say it's going to be 2. Don't want to go so far as to say the Imperials will win. They got 15 players. Beer. Why do they have 15 players? I'm going to say it's 2-1 with the Imperials actually winning this one. That's my guess. I think they're going to be able to overcome that team value with the amount of inducements they're going to get. So now looking at the honors a little bit, current team value right now, the passing pathogens are the highest at 1595. Blackwater Prowlers 1430. Most of these teams are around 1300. I think probably average is maybe around 1250 across the league. Most fame, we got one team, Southeast Purple Haze, sitting at 6 dedicated fans. Most experienced, Southeast Purple Haze have 245 SPP gained, followed by a number of other redrafts. The Blackwater Prowlers are closing in on the SPP close to the Kansas City redraft team. Best performance wise, Southeast Purple Haze have 57 performance points. Most scorer, there's a tie between the Purple Haze and the Titans with 11 apiece. Best defense right now is being held by the Purple Haze and Kansas City Dark Elves with 3 apiece. Most beast, Thunder Mountain Rampage have caused 20 casualties, followed closely behind by Salt Life, and I think these two teams are playing each other. Most injured right now is the District Decimators with 17 injuries, followed by the Box Art Barons, and then the New River Nightcrawlers have had 15 injuries, followed by other 15s for other teams. Most deadly, so the Black Pyramid Sentinels have killed 5 players thus far. Most dirty player right now is the District Decimators have committed 21 fouls. Southeast Purple Haze have committed 17. Most sent off, the Southeast Purple Haze are not as good as staying hidden as others, so they've had 5 sent off. They've had 9 completions thus far this season. District Decimators holding on to the best stunty spot. And the best run so far this year is consecutive wins of 5, followed by 3. And the worst run right now is the Marlin Bay Marauders, who have had 5 consecutive losses. Player-wise, most valued right now is Sneak Scuttle Spike at 205, Flix Lateral at also 205. Most valued big guy is Bradley Deathguard Hawken, who's taken a rest from this week at 200K. Most valued stunty is Crick Roxu, which is a 70K chameleon skink, I don't think with any skills. Most experienced, there's 2 players that have gained 31 SPP this season, which is Flix Lateral and Elizabeth Bathroy. And best performance right now is being led by Flix Lateral with 17 points. Most scorer is Sneak Scuttle Spike with 7 touchdowns scored, followed closely behind by Lucian Von Wigglebutt with 6. Most beast is a tie between 5 players right now. Albert Rothman, Eleanor Geislerg, Angus Grudgebear, Bradley Deathguard Hawken, and Biff Wave Treader Spiffy all have 6 casualties caused, so that could be anyone's game moving forward. Most injured, there's 5 people that have been injured 3 times. Mort Bartholomew, Sebastian, the vegan one, and Lenny Line Rider Curran. Most MVP, there is 3 players that have gotten the MVP 3 times, which is Dongo, Lane, and Karthak. Most dirty player is King Julian with the District Decimators with 11 fouls committed. Most sent off is Mushling, the snotling from the Underworld Denizen Purple Haze. And most completions is Flix Lateral with 9 completions so far this season. So that kind of wraps us up through round 5. Good luck to all the coaches going forward. And we will see you guys for hopefully a round 6 update after this round. Have a good one, everybody. Thanks.